Hello everyone, how's it going? Just getting some final things organized here and we will be good to go. Alright, the intro music is done. We can now begin. How's it going everyone? Hope you all are doing quite well on this nice Sunday evening. Let's see if I remember my my keyboard shortcuts on how to switch my cameras around so that we're organized. Man, I am completely flat-footed. I'm on the wrong slide and everything, but getting back into the swing of things. Hope you all are doing well. Just doing some final setup here. Who we got in chat right now? We got CJ in chat. How's it going, CJ? Crafter's in here. Ashton's in here. Weather enthusiast Jess. Jordan's in chat. How's it going, everyone? I hope you all are doing well tonight. We have had a rainy day today across southern Wisconsin with all these little pop-up thunderstorms. I tried to go out and shoot some lightning earlier, but I didn't get anything. I came home empty-handed, but that's okay because we have more chances of storms later this week, which you're going to hear about. We have the chance of northern lights this week, which you're going to hear about, and we got a lot to talk about just over the overall storm season. That's kind of the plan for tonight. I put out a little poll on my YouTube community tab saying what type of live stream people want to watch this week, and a recap of this storm season so far is what won. Let's see if I remember how to switch on over to my my Google Slide window, but I think I hit the right keyboard shortcut, so we'll give that a second to switch on over. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing well on this fine evening. Today's going to be kind of chill, laid back stream, taking a breather from all the crazy storms we've been having the past few weeks. And just hanging out, having a good time. Why is my face not on there? Where'd my face cam go? Hold on. I need to fix something. My camera isn't showing up. Hold on. There we go. I think we're up and rolling now. Minor technical difficulties. I believe I fixed it. Alright. Now, let's switch back over to our computer window. Hopefully it's all set. I haven't done this in a while, so bear with me. We might have a few technical problems along the way, but we'll get through it. Imagine that big of a storm to cover Wisconsin. I'd be chasing. I'd be out there. I'd be sitting right in here is where I'd be hanging out. I mean, if we had a storm like that coming through Wisconsin, that's a good 20-mile inflow notch. So I'd be hanging out in there in the clear air, kind of observing what's going on. But we got a lot to talk about this evening. The turtle is going crazy. Maybe we can show off the turtle at some point in the stream if we get enough likes. But yeah, we're just gonna jump right in. This is what we're doing tonight, or one of the things we're doing tonight. I put together a tier list of some of the storms that we've chased this year. At least my best of the best storm chases for the year. We picked out, what is that? I believe that's what, 15? I didn't count. No, it's 11 or 12. Something like that. Some of my best storm chases from this year. And we're going to go through and rank them one at a time on the tier list. I got a turtle. I do have a turtle. He's hanging out right now. He's really happy. He just got a big new cage. I can show that off here once we get rolling a little bit. But yes, I do have a turtle. And he's making a mess right now is what he's doing. He's pushing all of his rocks around. He wants to be on stream. So at some point, we'll show off the turtle. But right now, we got weather to talk about. But yeah, we're going to do a little tier list here. Tier list of the storms we've chased this year. Kind of from a storm chaser perspective. How I've done this season. Kind of looking back at the storms we've seen. So I think we just dive right on in. Starting off hot this year with February 8th. CJ knows about this day. CJ was out and about. Jordan might have been out and about too. I can't remember. Jordan, if you were chasing this day, say something in chat. But this was a big Wisconsin severe weather day, mainly because, one, it was a little bit sneaky. No one really saw this coming, but it was also historic. We had the first February tornado in Wisconsin in recorded history, and the first significant February tornado in Wisconsin history. This EF2 that struck near Evansville, and then an EF1 that kind of meandered just kind of southwest of there. I know CJ got this tornado. I'm trying to remember where he intercepted it, but little EF1 with a a much larger EF2 that occurred right afterwards. This was my view of that storm. I didn't pick it up till a little bit later down the road. And I was chasing with one of my friends, Asa. We kind of stepped back from that storm just because, at least on radar, by the time we got to it, it was so completely wrapped in rain. I mean, you can see it down there. It is just rain. Wherever that tornado is, we weren't seeing it. So we kind of stepped back and enjoyed the structure show. And you know what? A structure show to start off the year, especially on a historic thunderstorm like this, I think that's a pretty good start to the year. I think that... Oh, we're skipping ahead. I think this storm lands at a solid B. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm feeling. But yeah, it was a fun chase day. A very interesting chase day. A little bit scary at first. When we first saw the PDS tornado, we're like, okay, things are a bit more serious now, and we're only in February, so we gotta brush off the rust and get into business mode. But just a few weeks after that, got my first February tornado. This is when I was chasing with CJ. There's Jordan down there too, and Noah. We had the whole squad on this storm down in northern Illinois, just southwest of Rochelle. We got a nice EF0 tornado in the distance down here, kind of perusing off over the farmland. We also had some really gorgeous storm structure. Storm structure like this in February, in Illinois of all places, it's not something you see very often. No S tier for a record break. Unfortunately, I didn't see it. I'm kind of basing the tier list off of kind of how I performed during the chase. So for me, that chase was a B. I know for CJ and some of the other chasers who saw the tornado, that's an S tier storm. Absolutely. From a storm chaser perspective, seeing something historic like that, that's top of the top. But this storm was pretty dang good. I think it's safe to say that this storm is a solid A. One, got to see my first February tornado, which those are pretty rare. You don't get to see those very often. Hanging out with some fun friends and just enjoying Mother Nature. Can't go wrong that way. And then, just a few weeks later, once again, chasing with CJ, March 4th, we had this monster of a supercell in southern Wisconsin. Some of the prettiest storm structure that I've seen this year. I mean, just look at how awesome and beautifully striated this storm was. Some of my favorite storm structure photos of this year. It was really, really fun chase. We also had the Gustnado, the Gustnado that duped a lot of storm chasers, me and CJ included. We reported this as a tornado. A lot of other storm chasers who were on the other side of this storm also thought this was a tornado. It was not a tornado, though. It looks really, really convincing with that wall cloud over it, but this was actually a Gustnado. It's just kind of a little spin of dust, not associated with any tornadic circulation, getting spun up at the surface by outflow winds getting pushed out. It was very, very brief, only lasted for a few seconds, and it duped a lot of us. This was a talking point in the weather world for a day or two. This little dust whirl right there. But nonetheless, still a fun day. Another highlight from that day was this plane right here. Me and CJ at the end of the chase, we kind of set up by the Milwaukee airport trying to shoot photos of lightning. We managed to capture this airplane flying with a lightning strike right behind it, which has always been a bucket list shot of mine. And I know CJ was really, really happy to get the shot in his in the video he shot. You can hear him scream like, "Oh, I got it!" I always love looking back at that clip. But yeah, this was the highlight of the day for me, was this shot right here. I've always wanted a photo like this, which is why this storm is going in a B tier there. We didn't get a tornado, but everything else pretty dang good. I almost put this in A, but I think B is pretty solid for this one. Next up, April 8th, the solar eclipse. One of my favorite days of this year so far. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. I rented one of the big 600 millimeter telescope camera lenses and got some great photos. This is my favorite photo of the day. Once again, got this one with CJ. We were down in Indiana for this one. I think it's safe to say we don't need any further explanation for that. That's S tier right there. Solar eclipse, immediately S tier. I don't care what it is. That's top of the top right there. Especially since we won't have one till the 2040s. I believe 2045 is the next one. So it's going to be a few years before we get another shot like that. But very, very fun. Let's see. Crafter's saying not a tornado. That little dust whirl. They should have a little report thing that's not a tornado. That would help a lot of chasers out. Milwaukee lightning has been lit this year. It absolutely has. one of my favorite things to do is just find a parking garage downtown Milwaukee somewhere and just kind of sit up there and watch the lightning over the city. Absolutely awesome. One of my favorite things to do when I'm in the city. Turtle is still going bonkers. But moving on, April 27th. This was the first like severe thunderstorm tornado day that I live streamed on my own. Early on in the season, I was riding along with CJ and we had his live stream going. This was my first solo live stream, kind of getting all the gear ready to roll, trying to figure out how everything worked. And this proved to be a good test run. We managed to capture this big bull funnel cloud down in there on this storm near Monroe, Wisconsin. And on top of that, the structure of this day was just awesome. I mean, some of the most incredible storm structure I've seen this year, with these beautiful whale's mouth type appearance on this supercell. Really, really fun day. And of course, to top it all off, we did get to live stream it. This was the very first live stream that I did on my own. I got all the equipment ready. Figure might as well test it out. And we got to test it on a very beautiful southern Wisconsin supercell, which was awesome. Life in Tornado Alley, how's it going? Good to see you. Southern Kansas Rail fan, good to see you. I'm glad you guys are in chat tonight. Mentioned Starlink plans. I'll get to that in a little bit, but yes, I am looking into Starlink. CJ was testing his Starlink dish later today, and he had some successful results with it, so that might be a new addition for the live streams coming up in the future so that we're not losing internet as often. I do really want to get a Starlink dish on the car, because that would help out a lot. But besides that, I think we can throw this storm kind of in C tier. It's kind of a middle ground. No tornadoes. Beautiful storm structure. Got to test out the new live stuff. Overall, fun time. Smack dab in the middle. I think that's a fair place for it. Nothing super crazy. Not a total bust. Just kind of a fun day. Yeah. Ooh, Starlink. Yes. This fancy Elon Musk internet that I don't really understand. But I'm looking into it. I've been digging around. I'm looking at it. It has my eyes right now. That may be something to look forward to in the future. Now, it's time for one of my other favorite days of this year, May 10th. This was the KP9 geomagnetic storm that happened this past May. And we're going to talk about auroras at the end of the show, because we may have another aurora chance coming up soon. Unfortunately, nothing this crazy. This is the first time we had a KP9 geomagnetic storm where there's a scale. It goes G1 to G5. G5 also at KP9 is the highest of the high geomagnetic storms. And this is the first time we've had that since 2003. And when the 2003 one was pretty crazy. People were seeing auroras all the way down in Texas, down in Florida, and this one is no different. This was one of the aurora photos I got not too far away here, just outside of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, just north of town, set up, watching the light show. I was out there all night. I got out there as soon as the sun went down, didn't get home till 2 a.m. It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. I also got to test out the new my film camera. I have a big film camera from like the 1970s. I've always wanted to shoot northern lights on it, but I've never had the chance. I wanted to save it for that big once-in-a-lifetime aurora display. And this was it right here. This is one of the photos that we got on the film camera. A camera that's older than me, and it's still kicking pretty good. So I think it's safe to say that this day is another S tier. Top of the top. Super awesome. CJ was out there too. Yeah. The May 10th auroras are like, I don't know if we're ever going to see that for a long time. This is like some of the two rarest events up here, and we managed to get them right about within a month of each other, which is pretty incredible. But two of my favorite days. Some of these it's weird, none of my tornado days have hit S tier yet. It's always been the like auroras or some of the other funky weather stuff that gets up there. But yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. And now we get back to tornadoes. May 21st. This was the big moderate risk day here across southern Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri. It was a big day. Me and CJ, we picked off a few little supercells across Wisconsin as these storms made our way in. But unfortunately, as soon as storms kind of got into tornado mode, they got really, really messy. This was one of the tornado-warned storms that we picked up that day, and we were having one heck of a time seeing anything this day, just because the storm mode was just this big, messy lines of storms. The only way you were seeing anything is if you were right next to it, which with storms moving at 50 to 60 miles per hour was not the best idea. So we took a step back that day, just kind of enjoyed the structure show. I think overall, May 21st, kind of a D tier day. Not a smack dab in the middle, slightly below par for what our expectations were met at. Still fun, but it was a moderate risk day. We were hoping to get that nice photogenic tornado. Didn't quite pan out for us. Storms got too messy, but it was a fun time. Charlie and CJ, dynamic duo. Yes, we are. Jordan too. Jordan's in here every once in a while as well. Jordan, we're dynamic trio. All of us Wisconsin chasers. It's not just me and CJ. There's more than just us. But yeah, me and CJ have seen a lot of storms this year. We chase together very, very frequently. I feel like we saw eclipse together. We saw February tornado together. We chased this storm. We didn't chase together, but we were both on that one. Chased that one together. Chased the 21st together. We chased together a lot this year. And the next day is no different. June 3rd, once again, chasing with CJ. We also had our friend Andrew come up from Illinois. This was an MCV day. The turtle's still going crazy, kicking rocks around. But I think the main thing for this day was the storm structure. I mean, some of the bluest blues I've ever seen in the supercell. It was absolutely incredible. You could just sit there and just see these blue coloration within the clouds. It was really, really awesome. Really fun day. Just a fun day hanging out with the boys. We also got to live stream it. Another one of our first live streams this year. One of our more successful live streams as well, which was really, really fun. Especially since it was kind of a low stress day where we just got to hang out and have fun with the storms. I think it's safe to say that this is another kind of smack dab in the middle. Nothing super crazy. Nothing terrible. Smooth sea right there. Right in the center. A few weeks later, this is when things started to get interesting. Kind of end of June. Started off June 19th. We had this nice supercell kind of near Horicon, Wisconsin. We were able to get right up underneath it. You can see that little spin right there as the RFD was slicing its way through the storm. Overall, just a fun day. Once again, nothing super crazy. I think this is worthy of another C tier. Now, we're moving up a little bit. We're getting to June 21st. And for those of you who have seen my new video that released today, you know what happens as we move up in the days of June. But June 21st was another fun day. We had this really aggressive supercell that developed here in southeastern Wisconsin, developed near the Madison area, and then just kind of went down 94 towards Johnson Creek. This structure shot was my favorite moment of the day, just seeing this beautiful supercell churn across the Wisconsin farmland, not hurting anyone. We also got to live stream it as well. This is one of the live stream shots from that day. We were right underneath the wall cloud, watching it spin nicely. Fortunately, it did not touch down for the folks around here. They were spared the tornado risk from the day. But it was a very, very fun chase. Another fun local day, kind of low stress, cruising along with the storms. I think it's safe to put this one at I think we've had a lot of good structure days at C tier, but I don't know, that structure there, I feel like that's enough to bump it up to the B tier. I feel like we did really good that day. And now we get to June 22nd. I know Jordan knows this day very, very well because he had an interesting tornado experience. This was the tornado I saw. This was near Argyle, Wisconsin. Kind of a grungy EF2 tornado as it came out of the rain. This was right as the tornado was dissipating. I believe this photo was taken at like 6:45 around that time. And the Damage Assessment Toolkit, which is the website that the Weather Service puts all their tracks on for the tornadoes, had this tornado dissipating at 6:48. So we got the very, very end of this tornado. But counting it, because we did see it, a very ugly EF2 tornado that was hidden behind the rain for most of its life. Storm structure was really, really, really pretty though. We had some beautiful blues. Something else I love about this photo is we had dual mesocyclones. For those of you who don't know, the mesocyclone, part of that storm that's spinning aloft, kind of helped to get that supercell rotating. We had two of them here. There was one mesocyclone down here, kind of tucked back in the rain. That one had that EF2 tornado. Here's another mesocyclone kind of down in this area. This was the new area of rotation that was developing as this one died out. So overall, a very interesting day. I just realized it says June 21st up here. That's wrong. Ignore that. This is June 22nd. There's Jordan down there. We didn't even realize it, but we were parked next to each other, waiting out the high winds. I remember I posted this photo a few days beforehand, and or a few days after the fact, and then he responded, "That's my car down there." I was like, oh, I didn't realize it, but me and Jordan were parked right next to each other, waiting out these high winds. I believe they were gusting close to 80 miles per hour, right around there, 70, 80 miles per hour. There were some good gusts in there. And then we got into Janesville, which is where an EF2 tornado came through town. One of the craziest tornado damage sites I've seen, especially kind of close to home. This was a tricky day because everything was kind of right near home. So very, very interesting day. Chase-wise, though, it was a pretty good success. We got to live stream this chase once again. This is our most viewed chase out of that week of storm chasing. We were able, from June 19th to June 22nd, it was kind of like, this is what I want to do with the live streams, because we were able to provide severe weather coverage to over 30,000 people who tuned in to see what these storms were doing, which, I don't know, to me, I feel like that's a testament that whether it's a small local marginal day or the big severe weather setups, having a live stream, especially for the local chasers, is really, really important, since the big national guys can't always make it to these events. So for us, the local storm chasing crowd kind of came in handy, helping to send in reports to the Weather Service and helping to make sure the public was aware what was going on as these storms were happening, giving that very important ground truth of what was going on. I think it's safe to put this storm right at A tier. We didn't get that photogenic tornado. If we would have gotten a nice, pretty tornado all the way to the ground, that probably would have bumped this up to S. But storm chaser-wise, I would believe, once again, this could sit at a solid A tier, right near the top of the list. But yeah. Insane wind. Glad you guys were safe. Yeah, it was really some of the strongest winds I've experienced. I had the front of the car pointed into the winds so that we weren't getting blown around a little bit. And even with the front of the car pointed into the winds where it's the most aerodynamic, the whole car was still had a little bit of a bounce to it, which had me nervous there for a moment, but fortunately the winds kind of died down. Tristan's in here. How's it going, Tristan? Good to see you. We get to educate you and keep us safe. That's why we're out there. We want to show you guys what those storms are doing so you're aware of what's going on and you know how to react, and hopefully you're learning a thing or two along the way. That's the best part. The moment when you realize a Wisconsin chaser has seen more tornadoes than you. I mean, Wisconsin's had a pretty good year this year. I haven't seen a whole lot of tornadoes this year. I'm trying to remember what my count is for this season. I believe I've only seen 2 tornadoes this year. I know last year we saw, we saw 8 tornadoes last year. I might have counted that wrong, but yeah. Somewhere around, I think it was around 2 tornadoes is what I've seen this year. So, and last year we had 8 or 9. I don't remember the exact count, but I'm at 2 for the year. Or no, 3. I'm dumb. I'm forgetting this day down here, which we'll get to in a second. 3 tornadoes for me this year is what we've had. But moving right along, July 13th. This one was fairly recent. This was once again kind of a local structure fest. We had a nice squall line moving through southern Wisconsin. Once again, we did live stream this chase. We had a nice little crowd turn out to enjoy the scenery of this beautiful squall line that was making its way through Wisconsin. Really nice shelf cloud on it. Nothing severe. A few gusty winds here and there, but nothing super crazy. It was overall just a fun day, hanging out, cruising alongside the storms, and once again, showing you guys what was going on with the live feed. This was also our first day using the upgraded live stream look. So we had our radar display so you guys can see what we were doing close up to the storms. We had the national radar, GPS, and of course the live picture there. This was our one of our first chases with that upgraded live stream display. So overall, another fun chase day. I think that one is deserving of a B tier, mainly just because all the new live streaming stuff we got to use. Was this one nuts with lightning? This one was going crazy with lightning, especially as it got dark. I was set up at a gas station taking photos of lightning. We were getting lightning strikes like every second or so. It was absolutely wild. Really fun day. But the next day, July 14th, me and CJ once again chasing, dynamic duo, as we were near Platteville with this really aggressive supercell here near Platteville, Wisconsin. We had a really nice lowering on it. Me and CJ were kind of far away at this point. We're looking at that going, that storm is getting really, really close to the ground. I mean, that whole thing was spinning. It was right at ground level. We had it live. We did have our live stream right on that thing. Moved in for a closer look. Fortunately for the folks in the Platteville area, the storm did lose steam, kind of died out, and that was kind of the trend for the rest of the storms at this point. Breathing out that cold outflow wind, blasting away their rotating updrafts. So it was more of a wind and hail threat rather than a tornado risk beyond that point. I think overall, I think it's fair to put that one kind of at D tier. We didn't quite get a tornado that day, but still a nice little local chase. But compared to some of the other stuff, doesn't quite hold up. But now, the most recent chase day that I've had, July 15th. This was another big severe weather day, moderate risk across southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, western Iowa. This is the first time in my chasing experience in 1 year where I've been able to chase 2 moderate risks, which pretty crazy. Just goes to show how busy the storm season has been. Usually we only get one of these every year or so, maybe every other year, depending on how the season's going. It's not very often you get 2 in 1 year. So we were gearing up for a big day. The storm that we were in front of, Jordan was also with us that day. It was me, CJ, Jordan, and our other friend Charlie, who came up from Indiana to chase this. The storm we were sitting in front of was producing winds of 90 miles per hour, which is absolutely insane. Some of the highest wind threat that I've seen on a severe thunderstorm warning. And it was observed too. This wasn't the radar was showing this a few thousand feet off the ground. No, there were stations on the ground recording wind gusts well over 90 miles per hour, which was a little strong for us. We made our way eastward. At this point, the storm had kind of lost its strong winds. I mean, it was still producing strong winds around 70 miles per hour. Fortunately, not at that 90 mile per hour though. And I radioed CJ. We had our little handheld radios, and I had radioed him that, hey, there's some type of really big lowering behind you, because I couldn't quite see what was happening off over here. I had one of the pillars of my car window blocking me, so all I could see was some type of rotating lowering behind him. And he radios back to me, there's a tornado behind us. I'm like, oh, okay. So there was an east road, or a north-south road in front of us. This tornado was kind of tracking right at us, so I wanted to get to a safer road before we stopped to film it. We got to that road, turned our cameras to point them at it. Tornado was gone. I mean, this tornado was on the ground for just a few seconds. I mean, this is in the video that I have that I'm working on, I mean, the video clip that we have of this tornado, it's only on the ground for like 15 seconds. So it was a very, very brief tornado. But it was a tornado nonetheless. We did report this. Initially, we reported it as a funnel cloud just because it was hard to see the circulation all the way to the ground from our vehicles. CJ got a better look at it than I did. I submitted a funnel cloud report because I couldn't tell if it was all the way down. But CJ had a much better look. And the weather service, using me and CJ's footage, was able to confirm that, yes, this tornado did in fact touch down. I believe it hit an outbuilding, but I don't think it did too much damage. It only got an EFU for EF unknown because it didn't hit anything that could really justify a wind speed rating. So I think with that, we can put the July 15th chase at an A tier. We got a tornado that day, and it was our second moderate risk of the year. Pretty crazy stuff that we've had so far this year. Fortunately, no E or F tier storm chases, luckily. I mean, I did just kind of pick through the best of the best. If I was going through all of my chases this year, which so far we've gone on more than 30 storm chases, which is some of the most I've chased in 1 year. We probably would have a few down in there, but that's what happens when you're chasing everything. But with that, the storms are back on their way. We have more severe weather possible throughout this week as the Ring of Fire is making its return. For those of you who don't know what the Ring of Fire is, essentially, right now we're going to have a ridge of high pressure that's going to build across the southern plains here over the next few days. And that high pressure ridge is going to force storm systems up and over. So these storm systems are just kind of kind of be tracking up and over this high pressure ridge and eventually making their way towards our neck of the woods here in the Midwest. We already have severe weather risk in place for tomorrow. Tomorrow's outlook includes a marginal risk extending from northern Wisconsin near the Eau Claire area down to Milwaukee, and then down farther south into Minnesota, Iowa, Illinois. But we're concerned about the Wisconsin stuff. Fortunately for Wisconsin, it looks like it's just going to be a damaging wind risk. You can see we have a 5% chance for damaging winds. Nothing super crazy. We're just kind of, it looks like it's going to be more pop-up storms, so storms are going to go up. They may last for an hour or two, then they're going to collapse on themselves, kind of producing some stronger downbursts that may provide the opportunity for a stronger wind gust or two. Luckily, same thing for hail. Looks like most of the hail risk is going to be down in Illinois. Maybe a couple little chances for hail near the Wisconsin-Illinois border. Nothing super crazy though. Then once again, that tornado risk looks to be almost entirely in Illinois. There's the tiniest little bit reaching into Wisconsin, but not really expecting anything crazy tornado-wise for Wisconsin tomorrow, thankfully. Just mostly damaging winds. If we look at the timing for this event, this is Monday midnight to 7 a.m. You can see we have the chance of a few little thunderstorms making their way through Wisconsin as a line of storms kind of dives out as it dives south. I believe the storm complex is currently sitting over Iowa right now. We do have the chance of a few little thunderstorms making their way on through early tomorrow morning. This may provide the chance of a few stronger wind gusts or two, maybe a couple little hail reports. Nothing super crazy tornado-wise, though. So be prepared in case you hear a couple rumbles of thunder early tomorrow morning that you may have some thunderstorms knocking at your front door. If we go to later on in the day, this is 7 a.m. to midnight Tuesday. You can see just kind of the entire day on Monday. Looks like we'll be mostly clear throughout Wisconsin. All of the severe weather. Right now, the models have it kind of focused in the Indiana region, maybe a little bit in Illinois, but Wisconsin-wise, just kind of looking for little pop-up thunderstorms that may be severe briefly, mostly with that damaging wind threat, and maybe a small hail potential, but just going to be aware for those damaging winds tomorrow afternoon. Same thing for Tuesday. We do have a marginal risk out for Tuesday down in far southwest Wisconsin. A little bit far out to get specifics, but I'm going to be posting updates throughout the next few days as this setup continues to move along. And it's not just Tuesday. We're watching for the chance of thunderstorms. With these Ring of Fire setups, it often can take a little while for these big high-pressure ridges to kind of get pushed out of the United States. So we could be watching for the potential of thunderstorms over the entire week here. But at least as of right now, this is kind of the days that we have a good idea of what's going to happen. Besides, out from Tuesday, the picture is very, very rough. These forecasts can be, especially in the summertime, these systems, especially when they're moving through, they're fueled by such small-scale features for triggering those severe thunderstorms that it's hard to get really specific with locations. We just got to kind of look at the broad picture going, okay, we have the chance of thunderstorms pretty much every day throughout this week. You got to be weather aware. You got to pay attention to the weather. And we'll be posting updates as the week goes along so that you are informed once those really fine-scale details are worked out and we have a good handle on what these storms could be doing. Outside of the chance of thunderstorms, we might see some northern lights in Wisconsin this week. The last time I shot the Auroras in Wisconsin was all the way back in May, so I'm pretty excited about this, getting the chance to see the northern lights once again here in Wisconsin. Not something you get to see terribly often, but if you know when to look, you can see them. Essentially, what has happened is the sun has released what is known as a CME, also known as a coronal mass ejection. And essentially what happens is you have these big, I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. You have your solar flares, and sometimes those solar flares will blast out billions of tons of material off the surface of the sun. And you can see those CMEs here. You can see we have one launching off and another really faint one falling right behind it. These are kind of what these lighter blue areas are, kind of launching off the sun. And when those CMEs hit Earth, they can spark geomagnetic storms, which cause the auroras. They interact with our planet's magnetic field, excite oxygen, and you get the northern lights. This is a shot that I got down in Milwaukee, of all places, last year in February. We had a geomagnetic storm that reached up to G2 intensity. We'll talk about that, what that means here in a moment. But if you know when to look, it just goes to show that you can see auroras in some very unexpected places. Seeing the auroras in Milwaukee is very, very challenging, but luckily I was able to do it twice this year. So if you know when to look, you can see them. If you're even in far southern Wisconsin, you can see them if you know when to look. You know the proper times to look, and you know what to look out for. You know where to go, which is what I'm going to hopefully provide you with here over the next few days as this aurora potential kind of becomes more certain. I'll be posting updates on what I'm seeing, so if you guys want to go out and take a look, you know when to look. Essentially, let's talk a little bit about geomagnetic storm strength. I just mentioned that this photo was taken when a geomagnetic storm was at G2 intensity, which is a moderate geomagnetic storm. G1, if you're in far northern Wisconsin, way up near the Michigan border, you might see a little red glow on the horizon. It can be very, very faint at times during G1, but sometimes, if you're lucky, it can be there. If we go to the top of the scale, G5 is when things get crazy. Like I said earlier, this was the geomagnetic storm that occurred on May 10th of this year. This was a G5. Prior to the one we had this year in May, the last time a G5 geomagnetic storm had been recorded was all the way back in 2003. So it's not very often that we do get stuff like this. They're very, very rare. But what we have coming looks to be right in the middle. The Space Weather Prediction Center, which is the agency that forecasts the northern lights and all of those fun space things, has this pinned. Kind of what they're looking for is right in the middle at G3 intensity. And at G3 intensity, you can see the northern lights pretty far south into Wisconsin. This was a geomagnetic storm I captured this year. I mistyped that. There's no G7. This is supposed to... Here, hold on. You know what? There we go. Don't want to confuse any people. G3. This was a G3 geomagnetic storm I captured this year, or not this year, a couple years ago, back in 2021, just north of Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, kind of near the, right along I-94 is where I was set up shooting this thing. So during G3 geomagnetic storms, if you know when to look, you can absolutely get out and see them. They can be very tricky. I'm going to warn you guys right now, seeing the auroras, you're really going to test your patience. You got to set up, you got to be patient, and you got to wait. What I like to do to find them so I know where to look is if you have like a modern cell phone or something, a lot of the smartphone cameras nowadays have a night mode. If you're putting your phone camera on night mode and kind of pointing at the sky, you're in a dark area away from light pollution. You can see all the way down to horizon. If you take that and point it at the sky, sometimes you can see a little green appear on the photo. And generally, that's a pretty good indicator of where the auroras are. Sometimes it can be tricky to distinguish that green from aurora versus light pollution, which is why you got to get away from that light pollution. But if you use that, that's a very, very good tool so you know where to look. But yeah, if you know the right times, you can get out and see them. The window that we're looking for this geomagnetic storm looks to be tomorrow night through Tuesday. It's kind of the window we're looking at. I'll be posting updates if for whatever reason it looks like things might happen later on as this approaches. But if we go to, I don't know why Monday night is at 4 p.m., but Monday night, we can actually take a look at the new cloud cover forecast right now. Let's take a look at that together. Why not? Let's pull it up here so we can give you guys a more detailed look. For Monday night's cloud forecast, if you do want to try to get out and see the auroras, it looks like Wisconsin will be fairly clear. As we talked about, a lot of the storm activity for tomorrow looks like it's, especially in the evening, looks like it's going to be more farther south across Illinois and Indiana. And as you can see, this is one of the forecasting models that we use. This model comes out of Canada and does a very, very good job handling that cloud cover. This is the model I like to use all the time for forecasting the auroras. And as you can see, or not forecasting the auroras, forecasting cloud cover so I can watch the auroras. As you can see, this is around 9 or 10 p.m. tomorrow night, and we're fairly clear. We might have a few scattered clouds from some of those little pulse storms that are going to be going on tomorrow. But as you can see, fairly clear skies across Wisconsin tomorrow night. So, if all comes together perfectly, if those auroras do show themselves, Sometimes they don't, which is why you got to be patient and you got to be willing to get out there and try it a couple of times. Hopefully, the clouds will be cooperating. However, as we get to Tuesday, things become a little more messy. If for whatever reason the auroras are not out tomorrow night and they're out Tuesday night instead, it's going to be more of a challenge, especially for our folks south of the Green Bay area. It looks like it's going to be mostly just northern Wisconsin that'll have the opportunity to see them. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have that potential to see the auroras tomorrow night instead of Tuesday, so that we have nice open skies so that everyone across Wisconsin can enjoy the light show. Well, with that, we've talked about quite a bit. I want to turn the camera back to you guys before we end for the evening. I want to chat with y'all. If y'all have any questions, I'll be here for a little bit to answer them before we wrap things up for tonight. And yeah, hope you guys are enjoyed this live stream. Hopefully you're ready for some storms this week, more weather aware, and maybe you want to try your luck at shooting the northern lights. I have a video somewhere on my channel of all the tools that I use to forecast and look for the auroras. So if you want a more detailed look, I'll be posting that somewhere over the next few days, so that y'all kind of have a good idea of what you need to use and a good starting point. So you know, so you're not out there going, okay, what do I look for? What should I do to be maximizing my potential for success? So hopefully that will be helpful to you guys. And also on top of that, I did have a new video that I uploaded earlier today about my storm chasing at the end of June when we had a tornado outbreak right across southern Wisconsin. My experience live streaming those chases, getting that coverage to you guys, and overall just experiencing a really, really crazy severe weather event something that I have never chased before, an entirely different beast. So if you want to see something like that, that was also released on my channel earlier today. Beth says, thank you, Charlie. Always learn something when I watch you. Thank you. I appreciate you for tuning in. I hope you learned something. That's why I'm out here. I want to give you guys the tools that you need to stay weather aware, and hopefully you learn something along the way, making sure that you know what the weather's doing. You're not looking up at the sky going, what? What is that? How does all this stuff work? You have a resource so that you're learning while enjoying these storms. Let's see. I messed up my keyboard here. All right. There we go. Man, we flew through a lot of slides. How many slides do we have prepared for tonight? We had 71 slides to get through this evening, and we breezed right through it. I was expecting this to take an hour or two, and we got right through it, right around 45 minutes. A great time. I think that's my record for the most slides I've ever gone through. So, thank you for bearing with me. I feel like this was a bit of a longer one tonight. Alan Crow gives a thumbs up. Thank you, Alan. I give a thumbs up as well. You know what we should do? I said this earlier in the live stream. I talked about my turtle going crazy. I think he wants to say hello. If I turn the camera here, let's see. Can I turn the camera? There's the turtle. The turtle's down in there. Down in his big new tank. We got a big old tank for him now. And then the lizard is chilling out right behind him. Yeah, that's where the turtle lives. I gotta change his water soon. His water's getting a little brown. That's going to be a tomorrow morning activity, getting that water changed out. But yeah, that's the turtle. That's who's been making all that noise in the background this evening. Ashton was an awesome live stream, Charlie. Thank you, Ashton. I'm glad you could tune in tonight. Hopefully you're ready to see some storms this week. Get out there and enjoy the weather. But with that, if we don't have any other questions in chat, I believe we are going to be getting ready to wrap things up for this evening. So, Southern Kansas Rail fan, awesome stream, Charlie. Think you have potential to be the next big chaser. Wish you a long, prosperous career. Thank you, Southern Kansas Rail fan. I appreciate the kind words. Hopefully we can get some nice storms for you guys soon, so that we can hopefully hit that the big chaser potential. It's hard to chase when you're stuck in Wisconsin, but we get our big storms from time to time. Could I do a full screen camera view? Can barely see him. Absolutely. Got the camera full screen right now. We'll turn things back around towards the turtle. Get the turtle cam going. Yeah, here's the turtle. Here's our, he's making all the noise. We have the lizard. The lizard's back behind him in the other tank over there. Tristan says he saw the new Twisters movie. I also saw the new Twisters movie, Tristan. I went and saw it last, when did I see it? I saw it this weekend, this past weekend. I went out there with one of my friends, and when I got to the scene where they have the, what's his name, the live streams, my friends just turned and looked at me. I was like, guys, that's not me. I swear that's not me. I'm not that level yet. But it was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It got me a good chuckle. There were some points where I was like, okay, they did their homework, and then there were other points where I was like, oh, that's not how it works, but it's Hollywood. Can't win it all. But no spoilers. Haven't seen it yet. There will be no spoilers. Just know that they did their homework in some spots and didn't do their homework in others. But with that, I want to give my final thank yous for everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. Anita's in here. How's it going, Anita? Glad to see you in chat tonight. Hope you all enjoyed tonight's live stream. Once again, a new video just released today, so if you want to go check that out, be sure to check that out. Hopefully you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Hopefully you're all weather aware for this week. If you want to see the Auroras this week, or if you want to try to get out and see the Auroras, I'll be posting updates tomorrow, kind of throughout the rest of the next few days, just making sure that you guys know when to look. I'm going to be out looking, so if I see something out there when I'm Aurora hunting, I'll be sure to post a picture so you guys know when to look. I'll also be posting updates beforehand so that you all kind of know what to expect going into it. But yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed this evening. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Rob's in here. How's it going, Rob from Ohio? Rob, you're catching us right at the end. Thank you for tuning in, Rob, but unfortunately we're all signing off. However, we might be back soon, especially with the storm potential this week. So once again, thank you all for tuning in. Stay weather aware, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. Thank you.